program to implement simple index on primary key for a file of student objects. Implement the following functionalities, that is add, search, delete using the index, and we can use any common search technique to search the student record and also to delete. So in this case we are using some binary search algorithm. So as usual we will have a class of student. So these are the public members of the USN, name, semester, and we have two basic functionalities to accept the data, that is enter data, and the other one is to pack the data to write into the file. Then we also have a structure called as index. So in this particular program we are supposed to build a simple index. So this is the structure that is going to help us load the index that we have built from the file to the primary memory. So what will be there in the simple index? The USN and the address, just like how we have the title of the chapter and the page number. So we have both the USN and the address of the particular record. So we are going to have somewhere around 100 records index maintained, and we're going to also declare a variable called stem of the same index type. So we're going to see why we are going to use that. So this is our simple index. We will have other functions also, like create index to build the index. So once the index is built, we're supposed to sort it, and then we have to search also. The main reason why we're building the index is to search something, so that is what it is. And to search we are going to use binary search, and we are also supposed to delete a particular record after searching that, so we need delete functionality. And as usual we have error to display any errors in due course. So let's go through the main function. So initially we are simply going to open this particular file, record file.txt, where we're going to have all the records or the index. So we're going to simply open that and close just to make sure that this file is created, and we're supposed to open that in the append mode. And then we are supposed to create the index. Now why we are supposed to create the index even before we start entering the student records? It's because the next time when you run the same program, we are supposed to read the index that is already built, and then over and above that record file that we have already built, we are supposed to add the extra student records that the user gives. We are supposed to append to that, and then again recreate this index. So that's the reason we're going to call the create index first. So let's see what happens in create index. So create index doesn't take anything or return anything. So what we're trying to do here is to open this particular record file where we would have written all the student records. So we're supposed to open that in the input mode, and then till the end of the file. So while fp necessarily means till the end of the file, seen this. So till the end of the file, what we are supposed to do is read the position of the record. So initially when the file is opened, the position will be 0. That's the position or the address of the first record. So tell G is necessarily going to give us the position of the read pointer. So fp.tellg will give you the position of the very first record, and then from then on we are supposed to, every time we are going to go to the next line and ask the same question. So every record we are going to get the starting address. So position will give you the starting address. So get line fp comma usn buffer. So whatever we are going to read till the next pipe encountered in the same record will be USN, that will be stored as USN. So we are interested in two things. One is the address, starting address of the record, and the corresponding USN. So because USN is our primary key here, and we are supposed to build the index for primary key, that is the USN. Next, whatever is there in the record, we're simply going to read that, but we're not going to process it. We're simply reading it and leave it at that. So segment, we are not going to use segment at all. That is the rest of the record which contains semester, marks, whatever. So exactly after reading the USN buffer, we are supposed to check for two conditions. See, our record file may also have deleted records. So how do we know whether a record is deleted? We'll see that later. So we are at the starting of the record, we are simply going to put character star. If character star is there, it means that the record is deleted. So of course we are not supposed to process any deleted record. So if USN buffer, whatever we have read here, the very first character of that particular thing contains a star, then we are not supposed to process it. Or if the USN buffer length is 0, then also we know that this particular thing is a deleted record, so we are not supposed to simply process it. So if either of the cases is false, then we are going to increase the count, and in the index we are supposed to put both of these. So in the this I1 is the index, that is the simple index. It contains two things. One is the USN and the other one is the address. So in the USN we are going to put whatever we read here in the USN bar, and in address we are going to put the position. So this we are going to do till the end of the file, right? So after this, now whatever was there in the record, we have built the index for that. Index will contain necessarily a chapter number and the page number. So very similarly here we have the USN and the starting address of that particular record. So till the end of the file, if we do this, the index is ready. Exactly after that, we're going to close the file, and then we're supposed to sort it, because for any search to be successful and easy, we're supposed to sort the index that we have built. So if you see this sort index, you will understand that this is a bubble sort, okay, that we are running on the USN and the address that is stored in the array index. Okay, so temp is equal to I is equal to I plus 1, j is equal to temp. So this is something which we are going to do till the end of the array. So this is the normal bubble sort logic that we are going to use to sort the index that we just built, right? So exactly after sorting, the create index is over. Now we are ready to either add a record to the previously created student record file, or we are also ready to search a record that is there in the index based on USN, that is the primary key, and we are also ready to delete a record, right? So once you take the choice, so if the choice is 1, of course you are supposed to add a record, so we will say enter data. So this is something which is seen a number of times already. So enter data will simply take all the details from the user, and exactly after taking the student record, what we are supposed to do is we are supposed to open the file, that is record5.txt, in the append mode, and then pack it and write it into it. So we'll see what is there in the pack. So pack is the one which puts the delimiter between all the fields that are taken, and so even before we append any record, we need to read the position, because that is going to tell you the starting address of the new record that you are putting into the file. So then we're simply going to write this buffer that we just formed. This record is now written into the file fp. We're going to increase the count, and we already have this index. So into that index, we're going to append this new record that we just got. Remember, this index is in the primary memory, so it is volatile. So the moment you close the program, this index content is lost. So that's the reason we're going to call create index every time we start this program. So exactly after putting a new member in the index, we are supposed to sort. And so we've already seen what happens in the sort. We're going to call double sort. So once the new record is put, we're going to sort the index. So this ends adding the new record into the file, and once you add that, you're going to close the file. So what happens when you search? So in search, the first thing that we are supposed to do is ask the user which USN you want to search. So take that and then feed that to binary search. So as I told you, we are free to use any search technique. So we already have a sorted index with us, so we're going to do the binary search. I need to explain how binary search works. So binary search, so once you run a binary search, so we're going to get whether the USN is present in the index or not. So if it is present, we are going to return the location. If it is not, then we're going to return -1. So if the record is not found, then we're going to get -1. So we're simply going to say record not found and return. Otherwise, the record is found, so we're going to simply open the record file and seek to that particular position where the record is found from the beginning of the file and then get that particular line, that is the record that is there in the file, into the buffer, read that into the buffer, and then simply display that buffer before and after closing the file, right? So if the record is found, we're going to display whatever is there. So the key here is that because we had built the index, we knew where exactly the record was. So we went there straight and picked it up. That's the idea of building the index, right? So this is about searching. The next functionality is about delete. If you want to delete a particular student record, again you're supposed to call search, because even before you go ahead and delete anything, you should be very sure that that particular record should be there in the record file and also in the index. So again you can call binary search. If it is not there, then you say the record is not found, to delete. If it is there, you can say record found and delete it. Now what do you mean by delete? So it's not that you're going to completely erase that particular line in the record file. It's only that you're going to put a star mark which says the record is deleted and don't process it further. So how do you delete? Seek P, right? Go to that particular record. So how to go to that particular record? You know, right? You know where to go. Because once you call binary search, you know the location of the record. So in the index, go to that particular address that is stored in the index from the beginning of the file. So you are now exactly in the very first character, at the very first character of the record. So what you're supposed to do, put a star mark, which means to say delete that record, right? So exactly after that, it's not just enough to mark a particular record and say it is deleted. We're supposed to do some housekeeping. What is that? We're supposed to remove that content, that particular entry from the index as well. So what are we going to do? So we're simply going to push all the USN one step ahead and decrease the count. So what we're going to do here is, like, if there are 3 people sitting in a bench, and if one of the fellow walks out, then we ask the other person to move to the vacant place. So this is exactly what is happening here. So if one of the index is removed, so we're going to push all the other people one step ahead and see to it that that particular record is erased from the index, right? And then of course we're supposed to reduce the count. So this whole process is done to delete a record, right? Of course, error, whatever error we get, we're simply going to display that error, right? So this is about the binary, the index, simple index, right? The binary index. So we're going to run the program and see what the output will look like. So this is the executable. So we'll run the program. Now initially we are supposed to add a record we can search for a record, or we can delete a record, or we can exit. So let's when we saw the program, we also saw that we are going to first build the index, right? For which there was this file called record.txt which was necessary. So as of now, we already have 2 records in it, right? If you can see, and if you observe, we have already deleted one here, right? So we have one deleted record, and the other one is a valid record. So now what we're going to do is, let's put this particular file under watch as to what happens to that particular file. So we have 2 records, one valid record and the other one is a deleted record. Now let's try to add one more record into it. So I'll give some JT15 003 and 6th semester. So now this particular record should have gone and sat into the record.txt file, so it is there here. And then now, of course, by now the index would have been built, and we can search a particular record. So let us search this record number 3 using the USN. So option is 2, and the USN that we want to search is this. So it says record found. So these are the details. Now let's try to go ahead and delete some record. Now let's check whether our program really works. So there is a USN that is already deleted. We'll try to delete that. So let's see if we can do that. So it's actually 1 JT 15002, which is record not found, because we know that in the index this particular entry that is already deleted is not there, right? So let's try to delete another valid USN. So this time let's try to delete the one which we just inserted. So let's search record found and deleted. So let's see what happens here in the record file.txt. Please observe now this last record that we just inserted also has got deleted, right? So now this would have also been deleted from the index file. So this is all about the primary index, right? Thank you.